My name is Carol Lynn, and I am a journalist, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a widow, and I'm a newlywed. That's part of my cancer story. I have been a caregiver twice in my life, both for my late husband and for my mom. My husband was diagnosed with a rare sinus cancer when we were 6 months pregnant, the worst possible time. We had the best minds on our case, but nothing could really make up for the emotional impact, like a tsunami of what am I going to do next? How are we going to keep him alive? What about our baby? And I also remember a time in the cancer center where I was so busy seeking that second opinion. I was on my cell phone, I was looking at my notes, I was pacing in the hallway. And Will reached over to me and he took my hand and he said, "Come, honey, sit down next to me. Just sit down and be with me." And the lesson there was, when you're in the heat of battle, just remember to look into each other's eyes and remember why you're fighting and don't lose that opportunity to connect. That experience of caregiving for Will helped me with my mother, who was diagnosed with a rare form of lymphoma just 3 years after Will had passed away. At the time, I thought to myself, what is it with this cancer story? Why can't I get away from it? My first reaction was, oh no, not again. I cannot do this again. But then I realized, and this is a hard realization, this is a gift, because I walk the walk for something, not for nothing. And the experience that I had behind me was not to make me weak, because it was so devastating, but to make me stronger. And so with my mother, I knew what we were in for. I knew that when she was going to go through radiation, the fatigue that she would feel, the difficulty she would have in asking me for help. I knew that when she was going to go through chemo, the side effects would mean that we were going to have endless trips to the emergency room. And I'd make sure to go to the nurse and say, you do realize that you've got a cancer patient here. She needs to get into a clean isolation room as soon as possible. She can't be sitting in this room full of people who are sick with other things. She's going to get an infection. I knew how to be brave and ask for the things that my mother, my patient, needed, and not be afraid to ask for those things, and not assume that that beleaguered person behind the desk in the emergency room knew to do these things for her. Her cancer was also another opportunity to say, you know what, I'm not going to give up. Even though cancer seemed to defeat me the first time with my husband, losing my husband to that cancer, that there was still an opportunity for my mom, so that when her doctor at her HMO said, we've run out of treatment options, that wasn't good enough. It was time to get that specialist at UCLA, that specialist to say, no, you know what? We've got one more bag of tricks that we can play here. And it was the third treatment, a clinical trial that wasn't even designed for her type of cancer, that was a targeted therapy with no side effects. It was that clinical trial that has now put her in remission. And so we've celebrated her 81st birthday. She's seen my daughter turn 5 and now 6. She makes Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas dinner. And that's why I say that when you have hope and when you have a lot of patience, cancer doesn't win. I had to learn a lot of hard lessons along the way, caring for my husband and caring for my mom and having a baby. And I couldn't find a lot of resources online. And by providing people a way to not only come together in a single place, but to be able to articulate your goals and your needs, and also to be able to get information from people like me, people who have walked the walk and can share with you, what are the things to look out for? What are the things that I learned? What are the moments that were the most meaningful to me? And have them in one place is frankly a lifesaver. One of the most valuable tips that I can share with you is the importance of something tangible in your hands that's also very emotional. And one of the things that was really valuable when Will was going through treatment was like a cobbled together scrapbook that we put together with some of his friends and family, messages and photos. And with My Bridge for Life, there's the ability to put that scrapbook together in a notebook and have those visceral images that my mom, for example, can thumb through on treatment day. It's such a motivational thing to have, to be able to touch and feel and see the faces of the people that you love so much, and the important moments that you've shared together, and the things that keep her going. So having something in your hand, having that scrapbook, turning that bridge plan into that scrapbook, and giving something on treatment day that you can add even on every treatment day as that powerful emotional motivator, as a reminder to that patient, this is why you're putting up with all this stuff. You're doing it for us.